Hi, this is Dinisha, and this is the very first episode of my podcast called Azaad Auratein. Azaad means liberated, free, and unconquerable. This podcast is actually dedicated to women who could not be tamed. It is dedicated to their stories, their journeys, and the courage that they have shown throughout their life, even when it really costed them a lot. Be it was acceptance in the society, be it being shamed by their own parents, be it being neglected and thrown out of their houses, and be it not actually relating to anybody around them. So they had to take their path alone, even if it was the most difficult path to take. But they knew deep down that this is their truth, and they cannot negotiate it, and they cannot settle down for less, and they cannot shrink or play small because they have to act from a place of power. They have to reclaim their voice, they have to reclaim their power so that they can break that generational trauma cycle. Anything that oppressed them, suppressed them, ask them to be a very well-behaved good woman. Ask them to really not ask for more, ask for nothing at all, in fact. Not be anybody at all, be nothing. To forget their own existence, to forget their own truth, their reality, be somebody else completely. That is more convenient for people around them. These are the same women who set the world on fire when they finally show up for themselves. These are the same women who are now raising kids that can shut your fucking mouth if you really do not give them a safe space to grow, for their emotions to bloom and their creativity to flow. And I am one of those kids because I decided to come out and be myself. Now when I walk in a lane, and now when people look at me and be like, oh, look at her being so loud. Why does she have so many tattoos? Why does she really have to be this way? Why can't she be like, one of those normal, obedient girls? Why can't she be a good woman? I have a very specific reason. I have to make sure that I carry on that lineage of all those women who stand behind me, who decided to break out of all these cycles, break out of all those systems that really ask them to give away their power, that ask them to disconnect from their own bodies, to actually not follow their intuition, to forget that they even have a womb, to forget that they even have a heart. And that's why I stand here, because I want to share the journeys of these women. Cool. So tell me, what was the moment when you chose to be Azaad? That you chose to be free. That इसके आगे मुझे बदलना ही है. Like, I don't want to live the same life, same ideologies. That something needs to shift, otherwise I will really fall apart. What was that moment for you?
So for me, that was when my daughter, Tulip, she was vaccinated as a 3-month-old, and she got a vaccine injury because of it. She stopped breathing, and we went to the hospital, and it was confirmed that was a vaccine injury that happened because of DPD. Luckily, we gave her CPR on the way, and things did not go bad. Yeah. I spoke to the pediatrician, and he told me, I asked him that, is it necessary to give her this vaccine? So in that moment, I don't know, usually pediatricians are not like that, but he told me that it's your choice. You are making that choice for your child. Nothing is necessary on this earth. You are making that choice. And that was that aha moment for me, that, oh my God, it is my choice. It's not, no one can force me to get it. And if I'm getting it, the blame is on me if anything happens.
How old were you then?
23.
Wow, okay. So you were 23. You had your first child, and this was the awakening moment for you.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell me exactly, how did this journey begin for you? I'll be very honest, first of all. When I met you for the first time, in fact, when I heard about you, by the way, because I don't told me about you when we were sitting in restaurant, like in Baradri, a restaurant here, we're having dinner. And I was telling him, oh, I had this amazing sharing circle today with my Reclaim Your Power tribe. We were talking about the birthing experiences that we all had. Okay. All stories we hear. So even if they had not given birth, they were also there. Because we were all discussing what stories we know about birthing. Okay. Then suddenly Aru was like, oh, you should meet Jyotsana. I'm like, who is Jyotsana? And who is she? That I don't know about her. Like, because so far, all the communities that I am connected with, they are in South India.
Yeah.
All the birthing centers, South India. All the birthing educators, South India. So if there is anybody like I ever think of when it comes to birthing, sex education, or birthing society, they're all in South India. But I was very shocked when I said, oh, she is right here. And like, you're joking. Like, I have been living in the city for like more than a decade now, and you're telling me there's a woman who is my age, point number one, which I could not process, who just gave free birth. He said, yeah. I'm like, now I feel like an ignorant person. It's like I did not take my own city, and I'm just like taking up the whole group for inspiration. And that was funny because I told him, send me her number right away. I can also send my number to her so that she doesn't freak out if I reach out. And that's how I connected with you. I sent you a voice note straight away that, hey, this is. Are you told me this? I haven't met you. When I mean, I want to meet this person. So when I first met you, you were knitting. Crochet. in Anoki. Okay, and I enter the cafe and I'm just taking a 360-degree view. And I saw you like, she's definitely Jyotsana. Because I never saw your picture. You see, I never knew how you look like. And see, being a person who has worked with so many mothers, the instant picture that comes to me of a mother is a very tired woman. Okay, it's just like heavy bags, heavy hair, like, See, that's how I condition, okay? But you were there, sitting with so much of grace, wearing this really nice tan, like, okay, I remember. And you're just like knitting, like, like as if this is your world and nothing in disturbing at that moment. You are away from your kids for a while. You're having your nice pasta. I'm like, I'm really excited already to meet her. So I sit with you, and the first thing we start discussing, like, how was your birthing story? Because I was more, like, even though I want to know her so much, but I just want to directly ask her her birthing story. Which, by the way, I'm sorry, that came out as a very strong question in the first meetup, but no, that's fine. So, everything that I heard from you made me realize that, she's my age and she has 2 kids. And she's still this person who is visionary, who has creative ideas, has an amazing relationship with her husband. Is a lover, because I could see that joy in your eyes when you would talk of him. And I thought that I'm the only one who has that thing now. And so I felt that's what I'm trying to say. That I felt less alone. And I felt like maybe this is the beginning of something new. Because I was already tired with hanging out with people who made me feel like I was the only person talking about healthy, conscious community. So you were telling me about this aha moment you had in Oroville. Tell me everything about it.
So I was in Oroville. I was having a really fun time with Tulip, and on one of those days, I was in their bookstore, the Matri Mandir's bookstore. So I bought a book. I came across a book. It was called The Mother, and it sounded really interesting to me. I read a few pages, and I took that book with me on a beach. There's a private beach there. It's really clean, it's really beautiful. And I took Tulip, and she was playing in the sand while I was flipping through the book, not really getting into it. And I could make out a few things about it that were very different than how I was approaching motherhood at that time. How though you really want to enjoy motherhood, but most people have a very negative view of mothers and how they're doing nothing, taking care of their child at home. In a way that got to me, and I was struggling. I was really struggling at that time. So on my way back to my hotel, I was in an auto. She was there with me on her carrier. She was, sleeping on me. And it was that aha moment when, on my way, I realized that she's not the person that needs working on or correction. I am the one. I am the one who needs to, let go of the conditioning, unlearn a lot of things in order to be a good mother to her, because she is already learning so much so rapidly. Her brain is growing. And literally what I was thinking at that time was written in that book. Word by word, it was written there that, you need to nurture a child. You only have 7 years to nurture that. Their brain is developing so fast, and, just stop saying no to them. That was my first reflex, I would say. Every time she used to be very curious, go around, I was like, no, don't go there. No, don't do this. No. And after that, I just started observing, like, why is she going there? It's not like she's a stupid person or stupid child who would just, do anything aimlessly. And when I started observing her, I realized that she really has a mind of her own. And she was going there because something just intrigued her so much. And by saying no, as a mother, as her universe at that time, I was stopping her from the most natural, instinctual, emotion that she possesses. And I came back as a changed person, as a changed mother. And yeah, that was it.
Wow, okay. So you are my age. You were married at 22. And you have 2 kids. The first one, Juliet, and the second one, Arindray. Arindray is just 10 months old. But what I am also right now in awe of is the fact and the truth that you gave birth to Arindray at home. And we call it rebirth, whereas birth is supposed to be free. That's what I have believed in. But I cannot right now miss the details. I want to know everything about your birthing story. And how did you receive this clarity? Because yes, the whole thing about vaccination happened with Julia. But was it that really led you to the concept of rebirth? Or what was the whole process? And how did you decide that, no, I want to do this? Because I remember you telling me the whole story. And I was like, I could not stop smiling. And it's still there. I keep telling people, I keep reminding that Jyotsana decided to do this because she reminded me of the story in the farm, etc. I want you to tell me everything. Yeah.
So I conceived Arindray, and even before I conceived, we planned that that we want a baby around this time, because I wanted to enjoy my postpartum in cooler months. That was my only condition, that I want to deliver a baby around October, September, so that it's winter time, it's pleasant in Jaipur. That's what I wanted. So my preparation started 6 months before. I had completely decided that I will only have a second child when I'm able to deliver either at home or on my own. So before I conceived, 6 months ago, I saw a video on Free Birth Society, and there was a woman who was giving birth to her child at home as casually as you would breathe. She's going inside a washroom, she's pushing, she's waiting for the contraction to come, she's pushing again, she's coming out, her child is there naked, the eldest. And in that moment, I was like, oh, if she can do this, so can I. I was so sure of it. Before that, I did not even have the idea of, being able to be so casual about birth. But that gave me an idea that, okay, so I can plan a second child. If my second child would have happened in a hospital, I would not have planned him. But just because I had this little ray of hope that, I can be this casual, I can, give birth at home on my own, I was, playing around with that idea. And then we decided, okay, so we want to have a second child. And I did not go for any ultrasounds, for any blood tests, not even a single doctor visit. I was so sure of it that no, I'm not going to do it. And I did not check my weight. I did not check my BP. For the first month that I conceived him, I could hear his heartbeat inside me. I did not need a Doppler. I did not need a stethoscope. I did not need a ultrasound machine to tell me that there is life inside me. I could feel it. I could feel his presence. I could feel that he's a boy. I knew it. And I think they say that your baby starts moving after 5 months. You can feel the kicks after 5 months. I could feel him at 1 month. Just the month that you miss your periods, I could feel him then. That, okay, so there's life inside me. He's moving, he's alive, he's breathing, his heart is beating. I could feel all of that. And, that's how time passed. And, how people tell you that don't share what you're going to do with people क्योंकि नज़र लग जाती है, वो हो नहीं पाता. But I was so sure of it, Nimisha, that I, what do you call it? I roared it out into the universe that I am going to have a baby at home without ultrasounds, without any medical intervention, without any shosha. I'm going to have him at home. I announced it to the world. And that was like when I was 4 months pregnant. I was so sure of it. But along the journey of 9 months, I had my moments of doubts that, what ifs, those creep in. It's how your body survives, what ifs. So for every what if that I had, I found a logical reason to it. Or whatever question that any XYZ person asked me, like I used to go out and they were like, oh, okay, so which doctor are you consulting to, or which hospital are you going to give birth? And I used to be like, I'm going to have him at home. And more than me, my husband was confident. It's so funny that the day before my delivery, I told him that, this is what you're supposed to do. And he had no idea that there's an umbilical cord that he had to cut. Imagine, and he is the person I've taken on board to help me with my free birth. And he's the person for 9 months, he's meeting people and he's like, we're going to have the baby at home. It's a free birth. And I was still a bit skeptical of telling everyone about it, but he was so out there. So along the way, so I used to meet someone and they'll be like, oh, but so my bhabhi gave birth और उनके बच्चे की ये लिपट गई नाल, umbilical cord गले में फंस गई, so operation करना पड़ा. So I used to get these questions almost daily, that this is happening, what will you do if this happens? So every time I used to come across these questions, I used to go online or, any free birth societies podcast or any, research paper I used to fall back on. And I used to read. I used to research a lot that what if this happens? What if this happens? And it is so illogical, Nimisha, that you don't even think of these things in your moment of fears, because you want that baby to be healthy so bad कि आपको realize ही नहीं होता है कि वो बच्चा गले से या उसके lungs काम ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. Umbilical cord के through he's breathing, pumping blood, and he's not actually using his whole breathing system. So there's no way कि उसका गला घुट जाएगा अगर वो गले में फंसी हुई है. So एक के बाद ये सारी चीज़ें clear होती गई, and my conviction became much stronger, and I was just doing everything that you do normally. I was driving, I was piggyback riding my daughter, I was gardening, I was doing everything that, I normally do. Climbing stairs, getting down from stairs. In fact, I was 6 months pregnant, and the kid inside me is still alive. So I jump on the stairs. When I get down, I jump. Like I can't just walk, the waddle walk. So I jump. So there was my Mausi who was visiting me, and I just jumped. And she's like, oh, what's wrong with you? And she just lost it completely. And it was very instinctual for me to jump, like you get it. And it's not like my baby's gonna come out, but that's how conditioned women are regarding their own bodies and their children and their birth that they're so fragile that just by, jumping on a stair, you lose your baby. The body is so strong. It is harboring a child. It is harboring a life. It's not weak कि आपने एक कदम ऊपर नीचे रख दिया और वो बच्चा ही नहीं बचेगा. ये conditioning है. So all these things happened 9 months में. I had many questions. I had so much opposition कि नहीं क्यों करना है. Like my mother-in-law gave all 3 births at home. All her kids were born at home. But she wasn't ready for it. My mother too would not listen. Even my grandmother, she had all the hospital births. And I asked her that, will it be possible that a dai ya kuch? I was still open to that idea of a midwife during that time. And no one knew any midwife. No one knew anyone around who would give birth, who helped me give birth at home. And after a while, I just gave up. I was like, let's see. Let's just, see. I had no clue about my due date. It was wrong because I just went online and I typed वो due date calculator पे कि क्या हो सकती है, and it was wrong. ठीक है, तो I just had a very fair idea. ऐसे retrospect में जब मैं सोचती तो बहुत चीज़ों को मैंने घुसी नहीं मैं कि ना अरे यार ये कैसे होगा वो कैसे होगा. I just had a whole idea कि हाँ मुझे ऐसे से करना है. I had a very clear picture in my head कि मुझे मेरा birth ऐसा चाहिए and यही चाहिए. And right before giving birth, I used to read Ina May Gaskin's Guide to Childbirth, and it really helped me. And there's this book called Birthing Without Fear. And I used to read stories, real stories of women who've given free birth or home birth. I used to watch a lot of videos, and I had to prepare my eldest for the birth because I wanted her to be present, and I did not want her to know all these stories कि हाँ एक दिन हम गए थे कचरे के डब्बे से बच्चे को ले आए या कोई चिड़िया छोड़ के चली गई. I wanted her to know where babies come from and what childbirth is all about क्योंकि I was open to the idea that she might be there in the room with me. Anything could happen. So I showed her a lot of YouTube videos, told her about her private parts. I told what part is what, and not just, how, people just talk about the genital areas. I was very clear with words that this is what it is. This is where the baby is going to come out from. And what is umbilical cord? What is placenta? I told her everything. So this happened, and on the day of my child's birth, we were gardening just the day before, and my husband's cornea got sliced by a leaf. So he lost his eyesight for a week or so, and we slept normally, and there was a lot of pain that was happening, and he could not see anything. He went to the doctor and things like that. And रात को 4 बजे pain मुझे I don't call them pain, I call them surges या कुछ भी बोलो. It's like waves, surges. It's not pain, and I just knew in that moment कि हो रहा है ये तो हो रहा है. And then my husband was so pissed कि आज ही करना है. It's like I have a role to play. I can somehow stop it, and I am so pissed at him कि I told you कि भाई रेगुलर वो जो नहीं होते हस्बैंड वाइफ के कि भाई मैंने मना किया है मत करो गार्डनिंग, आज ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्यों करनी ऊपर जाके. वी कुड हैव एंजॉयड द गार्डन स्पेस फॉर अ वाइल, एंड हो मतलब like you should have been on board with me. And then he is just sitting there with his kala chashma on and क्या कर रहे. I don't know if you want these pictures, I can share with you. So
please
funny.
send me.
He's just sitting there, he's like यार मुझे भी आज ही लगनी थी, आज ही लगनी थी. And I am in my full that space. अब मुझे समझ आ गया कि I'm completely alone. I have to give this birth to my child, and I can't for a second be like अरे यार मैं तो बेड पे लेट गई बेहोश हो रही हूँ, या जो भी कंडीशनिंग होती है बॉलीवुड जो करता है कि माँ बचेगी बच्चा बचेगा.
Okay.
तो जो ये सारी कंडीशनिंग है, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये रहती है ना दिमाग में कि वो वाली चिल्लाना ये सब. दैट वाज लाइक नो, अब जो एक सहारा था वो भी partially blind है, तो आई एम ऑन माई ओन. सो आई जस्ट प्रिपेयर्ड एवरीथिंग, जो भी मेरे बचे हुए काम थे, क्योंकि I had to move. I was climbing stairs, I was going down because I knew for the long time, 40 days के लिए I would be on bed. So I wanted to finish every little task that I had. उससे अरेंज के होने से पहले I had made a full list कि वो ये मेरे काम बचे, you know, full nesting mode. And I just wanted to finish it. तो वो लास्ट डे भी मैं लगी हुई हूँ कि मुझे मेरे कपड़े लगाने हैं, कपड़े समेटने, लॉन्ड्री करनी है, और I had to prepare the space for home birth कि कहाँ करना है. तो I was already prepared that I wanted to give birth in my washroom, but it did not happen that way. So I was prepared. I had bought everything, you know, umbilical cord clamps and all those things that you might need for giving birth at home, diapers for me and the baby, both of us. So I was prepared, and at 7 o'clock I'm in full labor, full active labor. उससे पहले तक इट वॉज स्टिल ऐसा कि आई वॉज वर्किंग अराउंड, एंड इस टाइम पे ऐसा था कि विथ एवरी वेव, विथ एवरी सर्च, आई हैड टू स्टॉप वट एवर आई वॉज डूइंग, एंड आई यूज्ड टू स्क्वाट. I used to hold my bed, I used to squat, पूरा deep squat, and I used to keep moving my hips. And it was so intense at that time. I think my surges were 3 minutes apart. Every 3 minutes there was a big surge. And when you're so in tune with your body, I could literally feel that my cervix is opening. It's making way for the baby to come. And I had my affirmations ready that, you know, women before me have done this. This is nothing special. गाय करती है भाई, भैंस करती है, बकरी करती है. तो I mean, you get it? Like, this is the ancient wisdom of women that's been passed down to me. कुछ 2-3 generation से ये खराब हो गया. And I was so sure of that. I was moving around. And I mean, this is the story for my grandkids. कि मेरे husband वहाँ लेटे हुए अपना काला चश्मा लगा के, and I'm losing it at him.
It's so funny.
And he's like, मुझे बहुत बुरा लग रहा है कि मैं I can't be with you. I can't do anything. I'm like, मुझे गुस्सा आ रहा है, मुझे बुरा भी नहीं लग रहा है. And मतलब I knew that he's also in a lot of pain. But मैंने कहा, आपको पता है कल को आप क्या बोलोगे, मेरी आँख पे कट लग गया जब मेरी बीवी लेबर में थी. मतलब दो चीज़ें. And I skipped one thing. कि when I told him at 5 o'clock in the morning कि I think the baby is coming, he's like, अच्छा, okay, ठीक है, सो जाता, फिर तो सोने को नहीं मिलेगा.
No way.
That's what he did.
Oh God.
He's like, ठीक है 1 घंटा सो जाता फटाफट. Imagine Nivisha, and the husbands that we see, they freak out. बच्चा आए तो बेहोश जाते हैं. मेरे पति बोल रहे, मतलब इतना भरोसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए अपनी बीवी पे. ठीक है 1 घंटा सो जाता हूँ.
Man, oh my God. Did he take a nap?
हाँ, he did.
Wow.
But then I kicked him on his ass.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you deserve it. He's like, यार फिर सोने को नहीं मिलेगा, पूरा दिन जाएगा. मैंने कहा, it's like, are you gonna push or something? पूरा दिन जाएगा. आधा बांट लेते हैं ना pushing. And it was raining उस दिन. बहुत heavy rains हो रही थी, और मेरे दिमाग में चल रहा है कि यार अगर हॉस्पिटल भी जाना पड़ गया, मान लो 0.001% चांस है, तो ये तो वही वाला हो गया है जैसे कृष्ण जी का बर्थ नहीं हुआ था पूरा, उसमें जा रहे थे, बारिश हो रही है बहुत भयंकर. एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई टोल्ड माय मदर इन लॉ आल्सो. इन द मॉर्निंग शी वाज लीविंग टू गो टू, शी यूज्ड टू गो टू गोविंद देव जी एवरी डे एट 4. So I came out of my room to eat something. I was very hungry, and she's standing there, and I got scared. I was like, क्या कर रहे हो आप? तो मैं बोला कुछ नहीं, गोविंद देव जी के जा रहे हैं. मैं बोला अच्छा, मैं बोला अच्छा, and then I went back to the room and I was like, what if the baby comes, you know? And I don't know where it came from. I just went to her and I was like, गोविंद देव जी तो घर आ रहे हैं, आप क्यों जा रहे हो? And then she just lost it. And later I realized I should not have told her and I told her मैं तो मजाक कर रही हूँ, but she knew कि अगर ये 4 बजे उठ के ऐसे भूतों की तरह घूम रही है तो कुछ तो है. So coming back to my active labor, so my mom comes and she's in the room, Bhanu's in the room, Tulip is in the room, and my mother-in-law is constantly coming and she's like, please hospital चल जाओ, please hospital चल जाओ. मैंने कहा हो ही नहीं रहा दर्द. मेरी शक्ल पे like my mom can see it कि क्या like what I'm going through, but I was like नहीं हो रहा, and I was just moving around. I was lying for a bit, then I was moving, I was doing my squats, I was rotating my hips, and I lost my mucus plug 2 hours before I was supposed to give birth. I think around 7:30 I lost my mucus plug, and it was getting so hot, so I took a bath, and it really helped me get back to my body and realize that okay. And I could literally feel my bones separating, and I was embracing it, that my body is opening like a flower. It's making way for a flower. It's opening, it's doing the right thing. It's in my DNA. I kept reminding myself that my body knows exactly what's happening. It was so different in my hospital birth with Tulip. I could feel all of that happening, and I took a bath, I came out, my mother is sitting there, and I'm moving around, and mothers are like that. They can see what you're going through just by your face. You think that, oh, we're so smart. My mom's like, कि बाकी सब चलेगा लाइफ में, बच्चे कहने में होने चाहिए. कुछ ना हो जिंदगी में, लेकिन बच्चे कहने में होने चाहिए. And I was in that fierce mother moment, and I was like, please आप रूम से बाहर चल जाओ. ये सारी बातें करनी ना, प्लीज़ आप थोड़ी देर बाहर चल जाओ. ऐसे ही मेरी मदर इन लॉ आ रही है थोड़ी देर में, एंड शी इज़ वो इमोशनल, उनके पास वो लास्ट होप वही बची थी कि चलो यार इमोशनली कुछ करके भेज दे. तो वो भी कुछ बोल रही है, मम्मा भी कुछ बोल रहे हैं, और फिर आई टोल्ड भानु कि सब बाहर चल जाओ, सब निकल जाओ. एंड देन ही इज़ लाइक अपना काला चश्मा पहन के चलो सब बाहर चलो. एंड
I need Bhanu's picture in this kala chashma.
I'll send you.
Yeah.
So my mom still date says कि ऐसा लग रहा था कोई बॉलीवुड मूवी चल रही है, because she did not even realize कि भानु की आँख में लग गई है. भानु लाइक कि चश्मा क्यों पहन के बैठे. अब सारी फोटो में सभी बोलते हैं कि चश्मा क्यों पहन के बैठे. तो ठीक है, जो भी हुआ उसके बाद my friend, we had a yoga session in the morning, Abhishek, and Bhanu told him that Jyotsana is in active labor, so she won't be able to come. And he knew that I'm planning a free birth, and he's like, I know a dai. So, is it okay if I bring her over? So, Bhanu was the one who spoke to him, and I was in my room, and he's like, ठीक है, ले आओ. So this dai comes, and she's this typical midwife who thinks that women are broken, who know nothing. She is the daddy-ma of the house, and she's the one who knows everything. So she comes and she's like, क्या हुआ, दिखाओ. I was like, I don't want you to insert any fingers inside me or anything. Just touch my body from outside and let me know. And she just lost it. That, how come a birthing woman has so much power? How can she speak for herself? And she's like, तो मुझे पता ही नहीं लगेगा, ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता, दिखाओ. I was like, no, this is not happening. And there's my mother, there's my mother-in-law, and imagine I'm in active labor, and my mother's like, दिखा दे, please, एक तो बात मान ले. And despite being so strong about it, I was like, in that moment, चलो ठीक है. And she checked and she's like, oh, this will take a lot of time, baby will not be coming today. And she left. I immediately went, I was lying on the bed sideways, And I don't know, instinctively, my body just jumped into the animal pose, the dog pose. And I just felt an intense, what do you call it? I did not push. I did not do anything. It was my body, it was squeezing itself. I would never say that, just say hospital mein hota hai na ki 1, 2, 3, push, 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 push. I did not do anything. It was my body. It was squeezing like it just wanted to get it out. So I lost my water bag burst over there. So my mom is there with me in the room, and my husband is just outside on the dining table, and my mother-in-law is like, "Tu kha le beta, dalia de diya hai." Imagine. And so, everyone thought ki itni, because I wasn't showing anything. I was just going by the things normally, however my body wanted it to be. And my mother is there, and my mother started crying. She was distracting me a lot. So I push, the water bag bursts, the water comes out, and the remaining part of the mucus plug comes out, and I'm roaring. How I don't even know what that sound is called. It's not screaming, it's not, crying out in pain. It's just you letting the world know that I'm bringing life, or me just going to heaven and picking out my baby soul. I don't know what it was, but it was so deep. It was coming from my stomach, and I was just roaring. I was in this doggy pose. I don't know what, on my all fours, not even doggy, but I was on my all fours, and I pushed. Mucus plug comes out, push again, and I'm seeing, what do you call it, the ring of fire, where just before crowning, the
opening happens.
Opening happens, and I can feel that my baby's head is in the vaginal canal. Third push, his head comes out like this, and I just can't. I mean, it's very dark, but I just bent down and see his head like this. It was so funny. My mother is there. She's losing it. And she thinks that I'm crying in pain or whatever, and she hugs my face. And she's like, "Please go to the hospital." I was like, "Mom," I scream, and I was like, "Please leave the room. Let me be, just the mother inside me wants to be alone with my child to give birth. I don't want people around me." I was in that mood. And and my mother is screaming at everyone in the house that, "Please call a dai, please call a nurse." She's doing her thing, okay? And I'm doing my thing. With the third push, his body comes out, and I think fourth or fifth, he just comes out on his own. He's there, a blob. He just falls down like a blob on the bed, and I just bend down. I'm not able to see his face. I just see his penis, and it goes flipping like this, and because he started peeing. The moment he's out of me, he's peeing. So I see pee all over, and I just start screaming, "Oh, it's a boy, I'm the one who's screaming, "It's a boy, it's a boy, it's a boy." I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. So he was here. Outside, on his own terms, on his own timeline. And so later I delivered my placenta, and we cut the cord. My mother only cut the cord. And he cried, he pooped within 1 hour of birth. And that's it. That was my birth story.
What was your whole journey and process of educating yourself about free birth? Also, what were the things that you had to unlearn?
So I read a lot of books. I followed a lot of podcasts. And most importantly, I used to watch a lot of videos. A lot of videos of people having natural birth. And that, not only people, but animals. Okay. I literally watched every single animal giving birth in the wild. Whether it was a cat, chameleon, or it was a tiger, it was a lioness, elephant. And every single mother was so sure of it. Like she knew what they wanted, like how to give birth. Nobody had taught them.
Okay, एक second.
Yeah, as it होने वाला.
The connection that you felt with Tulip or her birth, how different was it with arranging?
So we connected really well. Our connection was for 9 months because I had to tune in to know that, okay, he's okay, his heartbeat is okay. So our connection started the moment he was conceived. While with Tulip, when she was inside me, she was in my womb, that connection was not that much. So when she was born and she was tangible, I could connect with her more. But our connection was more intangible. Even when I could not see him, I could feel him.
Okay.
But with Tulip, I had to always rely on external sources like ultrasound to hear the heartbeat. And in that moment, I used to really feel good. Okay, so it's my child's heartbeat. But when I used to be alone and I used to feel the kicks, it was not the best feeling.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
It was more uncomfortable for me. Ki, okay, so this kick is happening. I wasn't elated how mothers are. Ki, oh, butterflies.
Wow, okay, that really brings something to light that I feel like sharing.
Yeah.
So it basically means that your journey as a woman was different when you became a mother with Tulip. And as you really became more and more awakened, more aware, more conscious of your own body, you felt more connected to Arinjay, basically during your pregnancy.
Yes,
It's
always
I know that you've done unschooling, you've done everything so unconventionally. So I just wanted to know, like, how did you deal with the society's point of view and whatever they questioned or told you?
I dealt it in a very light manner, you know. Before I had given birth, I was very clear that how I want to give birth, and I used to be very straightforward that, okay, this is how I'm going to give birth. Nobody really believed me. And when it comes to school, also nobody really believed that, okay, I'm going to do that. But right after I gave birth, so the people who had not even called me once or messaged me once, ki, how are you? How are you feeling during your pregnancy? How are you doing? They were telling me, अगर कुछ हो जाता तो इतना बड़ा रिस्क कैसे ले लिया? बच्चे हो क्या? छोटी बच्ची हो क्या?
Yeah.
क्या कर रहे हो ये? तो मतलब there were people who were coming, there was a puja at home, there were people over there, they were like, oh, कैसे कर लिया, ये कैसे कर लिया, वो कैसे कर लिया, क्यों करा, हॉस्पिटल जाना चाहिए था, अरे पागल हो क्या, ये हो क्या, वो हो क्या. तो मेरा एक ही जवाब होता था कि मैंने जो भी करा है, मैंने बचपने में नहीं करा है. I have thought of everything from A to Z. And I came to this decision. ये रिस्क तो हॉस्पिटल में भी है. अगर आप हॉस्पिटल में जा रहे हो तो आपकी गारंटी डॉक्टर दे रहा है कि हम वो भी आपसे साइन कराते हैं कि अगर बच्चे और माँ को कुछ होगा तो हमारी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. जबकि मैंने तो मेरे ऊपर जिम्मेदारी नहीं है कि मेरे बच्चे को और मुझे कुछ भी होगा तो मेरी जिम्मेदारी है. I took the sole responsibility for the health and well-being during pregnancy and postpartum of me and my child. The same way you outsource your child's education to a school, I do not outsource it. I take the full responsibility of the education and learning of my child. Because it comes from a point of courage. कि कल को whatever the outcome is, I am responsible for it. I can't hold a teacher responsible. I can't hold a doctor responsible. I can't hold a nurse responsible. Or I can't hold a pediatrician responsible. Because I gave that responsibility during my first child's birth. They did not take it well. It ended up in a vaccine injury. So now I take matters in my own hand. Whatever happens, my decision of not vaccinating my kids, I take the responsibility of their health. That is why we grow organic food. We feed them organic food so that kal ko I can't question, I can't point fingers. That's what people like, na, to blame others. कि तुम्हारी वजह से हो गया, तुम्हारी टीचर्स क्या पढ़ा रही हैं, ट्यूशन पे बच्चा क्या पढ़ रहा है, हम इतनी फीस दे रहे हैं. यही होता है ना. बट वो जिम्मेदारी मैं खुद ले रही हूँ. मुझे वो फीस किसी को नहीं देनी है, मुझे मेरी बच्चों की ना लर्निंग, ना खाना, ना पीना, ना पैदा करना, कुछ भी आउटसोर्स नहीं करना, सब मैं कर रही हूँ, तो मैं पॉइंट किस पे करूँगी फिंगर्स? तो लोगों को उससे दिक्कत है। मेन उनको दिक्कत ये नहीं है कि मैं कैसे कर रही हूँ, उनको ये दिक्कत है कि मैं खुद पे लेकर मैं दूसरों पे उंगलियां नहीं उठा पाऊंगी, जबकि वो उठा सकते हैं. इट्स ईजी ना टू ब्लेम अदर्स, वेरी ईजी.
But would you say that these are the ugly sides of making the choices you're making? That is the cost you have to pay. That there's always somebody trying to gamble with you. There's always somebody trying to negotiate with you, prove you wrong, call you an idiot. You know, all the things that. What is the cost exactly that you pay? I want to know.
The cost is actually losing friends. You know, I've lost a lot of friends. We are not on the same bandwidth anymore. Not being able to go to a family function and really just sit and enjoy. I'm usually the, what do you call it? What do you call the odd one out? There's a term for it.
Or the party spoilers.
Black duck. Or the black sheep.
Yeah.
I'm the black sheep of the family. So they'll keep looking at me like some creature. जो
इसने तो घर पे बच्चा पैदा किया था, वही लड़के ने वही लड़कियां, हाँ, तो स्कूल भी नहीं भेजती अपने बच्चों को.
हाँ, तो and the constant judgment that comes with it, you judge me, but most people they judge my children. अच्छा, okay, so there was a lady who asked me once that, but result कहाँ आएगा? चलो आपका बच्चा उसी लेवल पे आ पाएगा जिस लेवल पे मेरा बच्चा है जो स्कूल जा रहा है. तो you see the constant judgment. Every time my kids will go out, they'll be scrutinized. Every tantrum they'll be having, I'll be told that यार स्कूल भेजना, एनर्जी निकाल, घर पे रखते तभी तो ये tantrums हैं. So this constant scrutiny is the cost that my child will have to pay. But very politely I told that lady कि जिस रेस में आपका बच्चा है, मेरी उस रेस की बच्ची मेरी तो पार्टिसिपेंट ही नहीं है. मैंने निकाल लिया उसको उस रेस से. तो आप कभी उस पार ना ये आ पाएगी ना आपका बेटा आ पाएगा.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
हो सकता है.
What are the ways do you think that your kids are going to be more creative and self-aware because they are not at all a part of an institution? What do you think will now inspire them? What are the ways, in fact, are you able to make like a vision board for them for their growth? I mean, I'm just brainstorming with you, let's say. Yeah.
For one part, my daughter gives back to me. जैसे, you know, sometimes when you're out somewhere and you, for a moment you want कि यार आपका बच्चा कुछ तो बात सुन ले. है ना? And but since we have tried so hard for her to be a critical thinker, I've given her all opportunities to be a critical thinker. That's the most important part that I want my child to inculcate in her life, is to never accept the things that the way they are. Always question. But वो questioning भी मेरे साथ ही होती है सबसे ज़्यादा. उस time पे it's very important to not crush their spirits. And sometimes जैसे when I was growing up, my mother used to tell me कि मैं माँ हूँ, मैं जो भी बोलूँ तब कर लेना. मैं बोलूँ कुएं में कूदना है तो मैं माँ हूँ, मैं सही बोल रही हूँ कि कूद जाना, मुझसे मत पूछना क्यों. But I am teaching my daughter कि मेरे से भी पूछना कि क्यों कूदूँ, because you have that right. So that is the most important thing, that I want her to be a critical thinker. Second, I want her to be very emotionally mature. More than IQ, I want her to have an EQ.
Yes.
She should be able to understand and regulate her own emotions. And, you know, she should be able to name her emotions. And be able to accept all emotions. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए कि I just want to feel happy. This happiness वाला जो trend है जिसके पीछे all the self-help books are written and everybody is running after. I don't want her to chase happiness. I want her to see every side of every emotion and be able to experience it. जैसे अपन छोड़े तो बोलते थे ना, लड़कियाँ रोती नहीं है, नहीं लड़के रोते नहीं है, जबकि I've raised a boy and a girl, and लड़के तो ज़्यादा रोते हैं. Girls are born independent. They're quite independent. While males, like my son, he's very attached to me.
Okay.
I want the same. These two are my prerequisites.
Right.
Ki my babies, they grow up on this.
I'm really glad that you chose this path. Is there anything that you would like to now just say while we say goodbye to all these amazing people who are listening to us, that anything that you would like to tell them that has really inspired you to be Azaad, to be free women?
I think just looking at my mother and, deciding that I don't want to be her. I don't want to go through what she went through, being a good girl, good bahu, good daughter. And now I see her, with all these emotional baggages that she has, which she has let go of. Looking at me, getting inspired from me, and how I am doing things. She was my biggest inspiration. That okay, I don't want to be her.
Yeah. Wow, that was really powerful. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you everyone who's listening to this. And I'm really excited to bring more episodes to you. So-
Woo!